This is TaySon. Everyone knows him for being one of the greatest and most decorated Fortnite players of all time, having won 5 FNCS titles and earning over $1.2 million throughout his online Fortnite career. But he didn't start like this, so in today's video we're going to be talking about the rise and fall of one of Fortnite's greatest prodigies, TaySon. TaySon has been around since the start of Fortnite competitive, making his first earnings in the Fortnite World Cup warm-up, where he earned his first $175 at just 14 years old. Unfortunately for TaySon, the World Cup didn't go so well, not qualifying for solos or duos. But he managed to earn a total of $2,325 throughout all the World Cup qualifiers. And not soon after, the first FNCS was announced for Season X. During the Opens, TaySon earned an additional $1,660, though he ultimately fell short of qualifying to the heats. And with the next FNCS, Fortnite Chapter 2 came along with it. The game mode changed to squads, and TaySon finally managed to qualify to the heats, where he would need to place 6th to qualify. Unfortunately, he ended up placing 7th, just missing out on the qualification for his first Grand Finals. After coming so close to qualifying, he made sure to make his next FNCS his best, and he did not disappoint. The game mode for Season 2 ended up being duos, as well as announcing a solo invitational not soon after. For duos, TaySon ended up teaming up with none other than rising star Janice. Together, they qualified to the heats, where they ended up dominating, coming first and almost doubling second place's points, guaranteeing them a spot into TaySon's first ever FNCS Grand Finals, where they were favourites to win it all. Unfortunately for TaySon, Grands didn't go so well, only placing 33rd. But with a strong placement in the heats, it was enough to start making a name for himself, with people realising the true potential he had. Filled with confidence, he took it right into the solo invitational, as he managed to qualify to Grand Finals back-to-back, where he placed 5th, his highest Grand Finals placement yet, making him a whopping $50,000. And in the meantime, his duo partner Janice ended up winning the whole invitational, earning him $120,000. And it was at this point where TaySon and his family started to realise that he was so good at Fortnite, he could start making it a career. Having done so well in the solo invitational, TaySon was happy to find out that the next FNCS would be solos. And boy was he ready. He placed first in his heat, which was stacked with top players like Mr. Savage, Thomas HD, Cammy and Benji Fishy. But TaySon didn't stop there. He managed to carry that momentum into the final, dominating, coming first, winning his first ever FNCS title. And for the next FNCS, it was announced it would be trios. Having just won Grands, all the best players wanted a trio with him. He ended up playing with none other than Mongrel and Mitro, forming one of the most iconic trios of all time.
I need to use a big. Just wait. One dead. See him. Let's go.
Where they ended up winning the whole tournament, making TaySon the first person to win back-to-back FNCSs on EU. For the next 2 seasons, TaySon would try out with different trios, but would fall short from winning both times, placing 8th and 3rd. Lucky for TaySon, the solo FNCS All-Stars was coming up, where the top 90 players from the past 2 FNCSs would qualify to Grand Finals. TaySon, having placed 8th and 3rd, easily qualified him to the finals. Going on into the final game, TaySon and Vino were tied on points, making it so whoever won this final game would win the whole tournament, making it for one of the most intense endgames ever.
Those are the two eyes, the two names you have to be focusing on right now. TaySon is literally in a world of hurt, but at the same time finds 2. That could be the difference. It'll have to be Vino going for the win right now in order to catch up. He's going for Erkin as well. If he gets 3, that could be it. He's moving forward, forcing the placement. TaySon on all walls, but he sees everything through. Finds it. A big matchup. TaySon takes them all.
TaySon won, earning him $150,000 and finally winning him his 3rd FNCS. and cementing himself as one of the best solo players of all time. The next FNCS was still trios, and he ended up trioing with Rezon and none other than Vino. They were a dominant looking team, coming first in many Cash Cups and qualifiers. However, they placed 5th in finals, which was a disappointing finish for TaySon. He ended up dropping Vino for Chapix for his next FNCS, where they all only placed 16th, one of his worst performances in finals ever. But he didn't have too long to think about his placement, as FNCS Grand Royale was right around the corner, with a prize pool of just over $2.2 million, which was the most since the Fortnite World Cup in 2019. TaySon decided to keep playing with Chapix, and dropped Rezon for one of Chapix's ex-teammates, Hen. With a total of 6 FNCSs between all 3 of them, they were ready to show the world what they could do. They ended up winning, earning $200,000 each, and adding one more FNCS title to each of their names. Moving on into Chapter 3, TaySon would place very inconsistently, coming so close to winning twice, where he placed 3rd in Season 1 with Thomas HD, 2nd in Season 2 with Chapix, 23rd in Season 3 with Chapix, and for the FNCS Invitational, he placed 32nd with Chapix again. Clearly, something wasn't working out with Chapix, so for the start of Chapter 4, they decided to split, and TaySon started playing with Merstash for Major 1, where they qualified to the finals easily. And on day 1, they ended in 7th place with 120 points behind 1st. To have any chance of winning, they would need to clutch up on day 2, and that's exactly what they did. Going into the final game, TaySon and Malabuka were left as solos. Tied on points, whoever outlived the other would win the whole FNCS.
TaySon though, up ahead in terms of elims and points. It will be Malabuka who has to make the first move. TaySon with that lead, both players getting a chance to breathe. Malabuka with a duo below him. TaySon still looking on the right side. Can't find much just yet. High point of elevation, Malabuka gets dropped. Malabuka in trouble. One player below him, low HP, can't edit the floor, has to hammer all the way out. TaySon on the backside of his own. No mats left. TaySon hung high to try. Malabuka on his last match as well. Goal. So close to the mine. Malabuka in the box. It's done.
That's why he's the GOAT! TaySon stays alive when it shouldn't be possible!
TaySon won, making him the first EU player to win 5 FNCS titles, making him one of the most decorated players of all time. For Major 2, he continued to play with Merstash after having just one FNCS together, where they qualified to the finals. As favourites to win once again, they played phenomenally, but only placed 2nd, falling short to the height-dominant duo of Queasy and Vino, who won 6 out of 12 of their games. Having played so well again, TaySon continued to play with Merstash for Major 3, only placing 15th. But it didn't matter, as when they won Major 1, they had already secured their place to the FNCS 2023 Global Championship. That had a prize pool of just over $4 million, which was the highest prize pool since the Fortnite World Cup. TaySon and Merstash placed 18th in the upper bracket, securing themselves a spot in Grand Finals. The finals didn't go so well for TaySon, only placing 15th, which would be a solid placement for any team, but we're talking about a 5 times FNCS winner. And unfortunately, his bad placements didn't end there. Their disappointing placement in Globals led to TaySon and Merstash deciding to part ways. And going into Chapter 5, TaySon decided to reunite with his ex-trio partner, Vino, qualifying for both Major 1 and 2 together, placing 15th and 11th, which were slightly disappointing finishes for the duo, missing the top 10 spot both times. And TaySon knew that Major 3 would be his last chance to qualify him to the FNCS 2024 Global Championship. So he decided to make the bold move to NA, splitting up with Vino, and duoing with Iomzo instead. They would end up qualifying to the finals of Major 3, and would need to place in the top 12 to have any chance of qualifying to the FNCS 2024 Global Championship. Sadly, they placed 15th, just barely missing out, making it the first ever FNCS Grand Finals TaySon failed to qualify since Chapter 2 Season 1, nearly 4 years ago. And now, as we head on into late 2024, with Chapter 6 on the horizon, TaySon has returned to EU, and is yet to find a permanent trio, having tried out with several teams, but ultimately none of them working out. And on top of that, 2024 has been TaySon's lowest earning year since the start of Fortnite competitive. But it's still very possible he can make a comeback, as recently he's placed 5th in the Trio Cash Cup finals, which is good hope for the future. and shows he still has what it takes to perform at the highest level of Fortnite competitive. But for now, he'll always be remembered as one of Fortnite's greatest players. Hope you liked the video, and thank you for watching. Peace.